This is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, the first part of J K Rowling's follow-up to Harry Potter series, which is actually a prequel. So it's all about a guy called Newt Scamander who basically has to he comes to America. Pretty much in like the early days, if you've ever seen Godfather 2 and you see the young Vito Corleone come to America on the boat, you know, a lot of people, immigrants, used to come on the boat. The irony current times when everyone's anti-immigrant and America was actually built off the back of immigrants, pretty much. There was no one there before after the Native Americans. You know, all the rest of most of America now has come to arrive as immigrants into the nation. It's a pretty young nation. That's the irony. Anyway, so Newt Scamander was there on the boat, and he comes with a suit briefcase and effectively has a load of fantastic beasts inside them, which I think is not allowed in the wizarding world. And if you know the Harry Potter world, it's pretty much, you know, a bunch of wizards hiding out from the human beings. And this is like a prequel, so it's set in I think it's 1920s or also. And it's really interesting because you see all the sort of old sort of fashions and, you know, the old lives, historical kind of New York, if you like, which is kind of cool. And then you have, he falls foul of obviously the wizarding sort of leadership. And at the same time, Dumbledore's nemesis, if you know, he was called, I've forgotten his name, but Grindelwald, that's it. The most powerful wizard in the world is a guy called Grindelwald, the Dark Wizard. And basically he's on the run from the good guys at the beginning of the story. And then you have these auras led by this kind of cool guy played by Colin Farrell. And effectively there's some sort of disturbance in New York. And there's all these different timelines running at the same time, basically. And it all gets woven together sort of at the end, but I find it a little bit busy with all the different timelines. I kind of knew it was meant to be, I guess, Eddie Redmayne's character is meant to be the leader, or the protagonist, if you like, of the story, but ultimately it doesn't feel that way all the time because there's so many other sort of stories raveling on at the same time. And I find Eddie Redmayne as an actor, he tends to play the same kind of shy character in most of his films. So this kind of suited him quite well because that's what, surprise, surprise, it's what this guy is. He's slightly autistic, shy, ADHD character, whatever he is. But he looks very kind of, you know, a bit of a kind of distracted individual, should we say. And it kind of follows his travels through New York and, you know, his beasts that escape and he has to capture them and meets a muggle, becomes friends with him and meets another sort of disgraced Aura or whatever, the sidekick, and she's kind of trying to get back into the wizarding world on the good graces and stuff. And then there's this dark sort of energy floating around, and they're trying to work out as a mystery who runs that dark energy, you know, what's it all about, all that stuff. But, you know, for the first installment, you know, a lot of people are fans of Harry Potter and, you know, they're waiting for Rowling to write something new, and she did. And obviously they made this film and Warner Brothers loved it. It was another trilogy, right? Instead of doing one, they decided to turn it into a trilogy. So this is the first of the trilogy, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. It's currently on Netflix only until New Year's Eve, so only for a few days more. And surprise, surprise, I actually bought the last installment of this a while ago on Amazon because I needed to see it and I couldn't find it anywhere. And ultimately, they released it on Netflix for free, so it's pretty annoying, but there you go. That's what life treats you. So anyway, this is the you know, Jude Law comes along later in the trilogy as Dumbledore, as a young Dumbledore, which is cool. So go and check this out. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And there's a kind of almost like a slight reveal at the beginning of the back of Grindelwald, and he's played by Johnny Depp, which is cool. So go and check it out, and you know, see you in the next one.